US tariffs are now the highest they've been in over 100 years. And when the White House explains their tariffs with formulas like this, it can be really confusing. So let me simplify it for you. So for example, the US buys about $136 billion worth of exports from Vietnam. Vietnam buys about $13 billion worth of exports from the US. So when you divide the two numbers, it shows that the US has a trade deficit of about 90%. Then the White House took that number and divided it by 2, and then boom. That's how they approximately arrived at a 46% tariff on all exports coming from Vietnam. So every export from Vietnam now has a 46% tax on it. Economists say that companies who manufacture in Vietnam, like Nike, Adidas, Apple, Samsung, and Toyota, will pass that tax along to consumers through higher prices. Now, even if Vietnam dropped all of its tariffs on the US down to 0, the trade deficit would still exist. Why? Because the US is a richer country than Vietnam, and therefore can consume more goods. And Vietnam has a comparative advantage for some goods like shoes over the US due to cheaper labor costs. So why is Trump doing this then? Because he wants to make it so expensive to manufacture products overseas that companies will want to manufacture in the United States instead, thus creating jobs. In his own words, he said, "We shouldn't have supply chains, we should have them all in the United States. We have the companies to do it." Also, these tariffs hurt other countries as well, and Trump is likely using them as leverage to have these countries give economic concessions to the United States in exchange for our lowering their tariffs. These tariffs are a seismic shift to the global economic order, and we'll wait to see what comes next as countries around the world respond.